Well, let's hear from one Nottingham woman who's seen her husband develop and slowly deteriorate from the condition at a much younger age than most. Former radio DJ Steve Voce was 51 when he was diagnosed with dementia in 2006. His wife Nicola is here at BBC Radio Nottingham this morning. Hello, Nicola. Morning to you. That diagnosis, when you get told what's happening, is it obvious then what you're going to have to go through as a family, or is every day a bit of a learning curve, really?
Every day was a learning curve, that's for sure, because I hadn't really had any experience of it before. I had heard of dementia, but of course as soon as you get the diagnosis you have to research it and look into it, and you find the information out bit by bit, really.
Is that scary, though, when you start reading up about it, when you start realising, you know, the person that you love is going to change dramatically?
Yes, it is. Although you're reading about it from a different angle, because you have that diagnosis, there isn't that same sort of intake of breath, sort of, oh, I'm glad I haven't got that, or something, when you're reading generally about it. So when I was reading about it, it was very much, right, how can I deal with that? That's going to happen. How do we face that together?
So how's Steve changed over those years? It's 13 years, isn't it?
No, it's about 8 years.
8 years, apologies, yeah.
That's okay. It's a slightly slower decline than I expected, because younger people do deteriorate slightly faster normally. So it's been very tough just to see him. He hasn't lost himself totally, but he loses bits of himself each day, week, month. So yeah, you just have to adapt. Both of us have had to adapt to those changes.
And so if you were to assess how he is at the moment, what would you say?
He's a little bit in a world of his own, I suppose, is an easier way of summarising it. He doesn't interact with people ever so well. He's very pleased to see people he knows, so he obviously still recognises us, and we get smiles and things, but in between those times he's very much just sort of in his own head, really, it seems. It's hard to explain because we can't ask him, of course. Yeah.
But do you talk to him about what he's seeing, if you like, or...?
No, he would have no level of comprehension on that now. Oh no, he's quite late stage at the moment, so no.
So when you hear about research, and there's lots of it going on, I mean, you pick up the papers like the Daily Express, they seem to have a breakthrough with Alzheimer's every single day on their front page. Does that give you hope, or do you think it's still such a long way off?
It does seem such a long way off, but it's such a necessary stage. I mean, these things do take a long time to look into, and obviously we do feel like the cures aren't exactly around the corner just yet, but it has to be looked at, and research is the only way to do that.
And the medication is there for trying to slow down the symptoms, isn't it? Has that worked with Steve?
It's there for certain dementias. It wasn't available for his, so no, that wasn't any help to him.
So there's nothing?
No.
I mean, that's awful, nothing. Isn't it? Yeah. So you find out that your husband's got dementia, and then there's nothing that can be done.
Yeah, although from very early on I knew that, so in a way I wasn't fighting for that, because I knew there wasn't anything, so you have to pick your battles, really.
Yeah, you do. And as you say, he's still a young man, isn't he, really?
Yeah,
you know, he's,
comparatively.
And especially when you look at the kind of age where people do get dementia.
Yes.
So do you feel you've had your husband stolen from you?
Definitely, yeah. Although he is older than me, we still expected to have a good life together, to, you know, for tens of years rather than less than that.
Well, we'll see what comes from the research. Thank you, Nicola, for just talking a bit about the reality of living with someone with Alzheimer's here on BBC Radio Nottingham this morning.